Hey everybody, this show is brought to you by Cowboy Revolution Apparel. All right, use code VALIDSTUDIOS to get 15% off anything site-wide. I personally love their hats, but they have other things. They have t-shirts, some hoodies, different stuff like that. But it'll help us support the show. We get a little kickback from it, and we hope you'll enjoy their super high-quality stuff. It looks great. So without further ado, let's get into the show. So, Coach Tyree, welcome on the pod. This is the Ben Jaminet Show. I'm happy to have you.
Thank you.
Everybody, before we start, just a reminder, the best way you can help us out, help the show out, go follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on YouTube. Give us a 5-star review and share the show with a friend. That's the biggest way podcasts spread. So if you're listening, share it with a friend. It would really help us out. Otherwise, I'm happy to have you on. Everybody starts with an introduction. So let me know if this background is inclusive and if I leave anything out.
Okay.
So, Coach Tyree Harris is a USA Weightlifting and CrossFit Level 2 certified and expert level personal trainer. While finishing out your undergrad at UNC Charlotte, you interned with the strength and conditioning program. Mm-hmm. Then you started as a grad assistant at WVU before leading University High School as the head strength and conditioning coach there. Then you made the move down to North Greenville University to be a strength and conditioning coach here, as well as a coach at the House of Weightlifting.
Yep. Yeah.
Is that pretty comprehensive?
Yes, it is. I've been at House of Weightlifting for a while now. I started lifting there in the end of 2017. I guess it was beginning of 2018, and I've been coaching there since 2019. So that's been the longest stint. I was doing online coaching while I was in grad school too.
Did you grow up here, or did you grow up in West Virginia?
I moved to Charlotte when I was 12. So I was born in Indiana, moved to Charlotte when I was 12, stayed there until I went to grad school.
And so you're in Indiana and West Virginia kind of mixed?
Well, West Virginia only for those 2 years.
How do you feel about the current basketball coach and after the move to Indiana? Are you happy about that one? Or
It was interesting. I'll say I didn't expect that at all. I didn't.
No? Even after 1 year?
Yeah, no, I just didn't. And then we went to IU. I just hate IU.
Yeah.
I was born in West Lafayette, Purdue.
Gotcha.
Anything IU still bothers me.
Do the people up in West Virginia typically consider it to be like a stepping stone school, or is that like more of the destination?
They still view it as more of a destination. I mean, it's still a Big 12 school. So when you're in the Big 12, they might complain like, oh, this isn't Texas. Oh, we want Texas money. But then you go anywhere else. Like Marshall is worthless. Like you're not worried about Marshall when you're in West Virginia. And then even when you come down to the ACC, you'd rather be in the Big 12. Yeah, so it is a destination. It's different, but it is a destination.
So being in those 3 separate areas, which one would you say is your favorite? And how have you seen them change throughout the years?
I mean, Charlotte, for every reason. I liked Charlotte the best. I went to undergrad at UNC Charlotte. The school's growing. It's massive now. I mean, it was big when I was there. And the year after I graduated, they added, I believe, 8 buildings on campus that year.
Wow.
Like, it is growing fast.
Have you had a favorite place to coach at, like, specific destination where you've been kind of the head of things, or at least involved in?
I mean, I would say for sure here, because they're all mine. Like, it's mine. I don't have to worry about the program director of West Virginia not liking the program. I don't have to worry about any of that. Women's volleyball, this is what we're doing. I get them from day one, had them since they were freshmen, and they'll be around.
With that, though, there's the added responsibility of showing each and every program not preferential treatment and making sure that each program gets your full undivided attention. So is that difficult, having so many programs all in one day?
No, I wouldn't say that is the problem. A lot of it comes down to the athletes and how much they want to do. Mm-hmm. You're going to have teams, and it's the culture of the team. You're going to have teams that work harder than others. Year after year, you'll have teams that come in and they're hard workers. You have other teams that come in and they're just, they'll do it because they have to. Right. You have the other teams that just enjoy it and will come in and ask, like, hey, can I get a 4th day of lifting on Friday? So that is more of a difference rather than just preferring. It's more you meet the athletes where they're at.
Have you seen a certain archetype or personality trait that maybe is culturally uniform within a program that makes them more enjoyable to coach, or better athletes, or better in the weight room?
I would say that's a hard one. Because my first thought is sports that are a little more analytical. Every sport's analytical, right?
Nowadays, right.
Even running, yes. How are you coming out of the blocks? What is your rate of force development? You can get very analytical with every sport. But I would say the sport that is most analytical, those kids normally work the hardest. Yeah, I'm not going to throw any teams on the bus. I'm thinking I liked both the teams, but the sport that was a little more analytical, those girls normally worked a little harder than the other ones. And I think it's just that's how they start that from an early age.
I've seen studies on the fact that the GPAs of sports, endurance sports, are typically higher than those of non-endurance sports. Do you think the intellectual mind craves the suffering, for lack of a better word, of being able to overcome the challenge of consistent pain?
That's a way to word it. I know what you're talking about, and I viewed it the opposite way. Training sports are training sports, right? So Olympic weightlifting, cross country, really any type of running, rowing, if you have a rowing team,
right.
Those sports, right, normally have the higher GPA. But I think it's the type of individual that is attracted to a training sport. You can work your way into being good at a training sport. I played football for 12 years. I'm 5'6", 190. I was a middle linebacker. I am not going to be a middle linebacker in college.
Right.
At no point did I think I was going to be. But I could work hard enough to play. So like that's where it comes down to. Those type of athletes move into training sports, and then they can just work and make themselves that way. And it's
So
normally
it's the process orientation
right.
more than it is the intellectual aptitude.
Yeah, I don't think that they're intentionally thinking about it that way. I think it draws them in. That they're already analytical like that. They're already the type that would work. So when they get a chance, they just succeed in those type of sports.
Does that make them more enjoyable to coach when they get in the weight room? Maybe on a personal level, but also on a coaching level.
Yes, because they're bought in. So, I mean, they'll do it. Yes, it is their buy-in that makes it the best. I've started enjoying sports coaching that I would have never watched in my life. At no point did I watch some of the sports that I coach now. I was never watching D2 women's volleyball. Never. I stream every single one of their games now. Because then you also know the kids, and you know they work hard, and then it makes the sport more enjoyable. And
It's
then
different
you
with a
start picking up the
personal
sport.
relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
So now even if I'm not here, I would still watch that team because I know how they are and how they work, and it does change your perspective on the sport. So even if it's a sport that you go into and you don't care for, all of that changes.
Right. Well, you mentioned that you played football and that you fell in love with weightlifting. Take me back to that first time that you really realized that weightlifting was where your passion and your love was, maybe where even your aptitude was physically.
So I played football from 3rd grade all the way through high school. Knew I wasn't going to college. That was fine. Never tried to. So that my freshman year in college, I was just still going to the gym, just working out, and I got bored not playing football. So I decided I was going to walk on at UNC Charlotte. They were having tryouts in a couple months. I had been lifting, but I hadn't been doing any running or anything. So there was a Groupon for a CrossFit gym that had just opened up a mile away. So I got that, and the plan was just get in shape, get some type of cardio in before I walk on for football.
Right.
And then you get into CrossFit. They do some of the Olympic lifts. I wasn't worried about that. I didn't really care. And then I snatched, it took about 5 or 6 weeks, and I snatched 200 pounds, and everybody freaked out. And then that's where I was like, oh, like, that's good? Like,
yeah.
Okay. So then I realized I'll try that. And then I got good. Yeah, I just got good at that.
It's hard, especially with, like you mentioned, super analytical sports, for I think people outside of the sport to really realize like what's good and what's not good. So it's like, even though I personally run track, if you told me like, oh, this girl ran X time in the 100, I still have
You
no
can't
idea if that's
conceptualize
good or
it. Yeah.
not. Like, I can't conceptualize it because I haven't done it. I'm not a girl.
Right.
So
right. It changes the game. It's completely
I
different.
can understand it by experience. Like, I know now what is good for a girl's 800 because
right.
I'm around
now
the
you're
event
around
more.
the sport. Yeah.
But until you're in the sport and actively participating in it, it's
You have no gauge.
impossible to conceptualize it.
Yeah.
So, do you think that's a hindrance to people entering weightlifting? And
Yes, and I think it also hurts viewership in sports. I think people need to look at themselves first. Baseball, for example. A lot of people love baseball. A lot of people say it's boring. Myself included, if you watch baseball and you're thinking, oh, this is just boring, I'd rather watch something else, that means you're probably just not smart enough to see all the little things.
Right.
It is a chess match, just like football is, but you don't understand it. That's not the sport's problem. Like, the more you watch it, the more you learn, the more you talk to pitchers and catchers and everybody, then you would start to appreciate the little things, like golf. I did not watch golf until I started playing some. Then all of a
Same,
sudden,
yeah.
I thought it was crazy. Like, man, how did he put backspin on that from 168 yards out? Then you start
Right.
appreciating the little things. And you're like, oh, man, how did he hit that shot? But anybody else watching, like, yeah, it landed on the grass.
Yep.
So that is probably the best example. The more you learn, it's a you problem. It's not the sport. No sport is boring. People wouldn't spend millions of dollars for something that was worthless. You just don't understand it.
That immediately brings to mind, to me, women's basketball. Because it is, unless you are around the women's game, you don't truly understand the value in the things that they do. Because in my mind, it is a lot of times a purer form of basketball than even the men's game has become.
Yes.
But at the same time, assigning value is very hard because is it possibly a less entertaining for the casual fan to watch game? Yes. But how do you reconcile those two between, like, is it entertaining for the fan and then also it has to be entertaining to the fan to make dollars, but at the same time, you know, we have to preserve the, like, purity of the game.
It's just different. A clear example would be looking at soccer, right? So I have women and men's soccer team. I have both the soccer teams here. They are completely different sports. That is not the same sport at all in any way. Yeah, they kick a ball around and they got a goal, but even listening to the coaches when they're talking to the players about the scheme for the game, they have to scheme everything different. There are different approaches to everything because the athletes are different. I mean, we can see that with soccer and understand. And you talk to the women's soccer athletes here and the guys, and they'll tell you the same thing. The women say, oh, no, like, the guys they're quicker, so they have to do things differently. The women will tell you their game is a little more physical, which it is, because they're not just going to blow past you. They don't have the footwork that the guys have at that speed. So it's different. So instead of just viewing it the same, they approach it differently, they attack it differently, they have different game plans. Same thing with basketball. I just think people view it differently with basketball because more people here, more people in America play basketball. So everybody says, oh, yeah, I can shoot a basketball. Oh, yeah, I do that. You've played at the YMCA. So they just view it like it's the same game. And how you were talking about not understanding women's times in track, people don't realize that it's different because they feel like they're in that world of basketball.
Right.
You're not in that world of basketball. You played at the YMCA for 3 weeks, man. Calm down.
The
Women's
average
basketball is
the
different
average
than men's.
good Division II basketball player is closer to LeBron than they are to the average
Yes.
YMCA Joe.
Yes, and people don't realize that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is shocking, but you wouldn't really understand it until you actually have to compete and the nuances in their games.
People don't understand that. I've said it with NBA players. If you ever meet the worst guy in the NBA, that is the best basketball player you've ever met.
Yeah.
And everybody will look at him, oh, he looked terrible against LeBron. You're right. He did. That is
Imagine
the
how you
best
would look.
basketball player you have ever seen in your life. And he just happens to be the worst out of the 300 guys in the league. Like, yeah, so he's top 300 out of the 7 billion in the world. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Like, right. Like, it's,
Right.
You're right. And it's a perspective thing. Like, oh, he's the worst one out of that group. Yeah, that's the greatest group ever. You're right.
I feel like the hindrance is that people think that they can do it. It'd be this same way to me as if, like, I don't know, there's, like, professional, like, Rubik's Cube people. Like, if I handed you a Rubik's Cube, it would take me literally an eternity to figure it out. But if someone even remotely knows how to do it, do they all of a sudden start thinking like, oh, I'm as good as the fastest dude in the world? Like that seems to be the equivalent of people thinking about sports, which drives me nuts.
It makes no sense, but that is what people do. People automatically lump themselves in with the top 1% rather than exactly where they're at.
Yeah,
because they'll see the one similarity, and they'll say, "Oh, I've done that." You did one of these 100 things that you've seen. The one doesn't make you special. It's the other 99 that made that person special. But that's what people ignore.
Ironically, and conversely, golf seems to be the best at it. Like the average golfer will tell you, I'm nowhere even close. And they're the ones that have like moments of glory where you can hit a random PGA level shot.
Yeah.
But they seem to have the best appreciation for, I could never in a million years.
Because there is a level of consistency throughout your round in golf that you have that you don't have to have in basketball. If you go to the Y, you hit 5 out of 20 shots. You had 4 bad passes. You're like, I did pretty good. That guy in the NBA only made 1 shot. In golf, if you have 5 good shots, you might still finish over 100.
Yeah,
and like,
easily.
So at the end, you're like, man, I had those 5 good shots, and I had a terrible score. In basketball, there isn't that immediate, like, oh, those 5 shots didn't mean anything. They still feel like, oh, well, that guy only made 1 shot. In golf, you can't get away with 1 shot being good.
Speaking to the professional athlete and common man connection, similarly, there's a player-coach connection. Are you still competing at a level that allows you to appreciate what the athletes are doing?
Yes, in Olympic weightlifting. So I still compete in Olympic weightlifting. I still go to nationals for that every year. So with those athletes, yes, I try to relate a lot of other sports to that because there is just the point of wanting to push yourself, right? I've said this, and Coach Stu, the other strength coach here, we've both said this to athletes. Stu runs more than I do. He runs way more than I do. But I've looked at kids, I can still run a 7-minute mile. Like, that's not an impressive mile. Most people can't, but I run a 7-minute mile if I need to. And they said, well, when was the last time you ran a mile? Doesn't matter. I'm in shape enough, and I know how to hurt. I'm not going to say I can run a 5-minute mile. I can't do that right now. But I can run a 7:15 for sure.
I've seen somewhere, I don't know if it's true or not, that weightlifting burns more calories than running does.
There's a lot of variables to that.
Cardio long term than.
There's a lot of variables to that, so it could, right? That's the other thing with weightlifting. You've seen people go up to Yance and curl the 10-pound dumbbells for 3x10 and be like, oh man, okay, well I was lifting weights today. Like, well, not really.
Yeah, were you getting better marginally?
Right. So the level of strain that you're having, what movements you're doing, could you? Possibly. But then the flip side is also there for the runner. What type of running are they doing? How much running are they doing? How frequently are they running? What did they eat after that? So yes, if programmed properly and that is the goal, yes, you could.
Okay. I think, at least personally, being in the weight room here, one of the biggest challenge I seem to face, and I think most collegiate athletes face, maybe not at higher levels with better funded sports, is the difference between the programming of what you're doing in the weight room and what you're doing out of the weight room. Because if you go in the weight room and you're lifting, but then you're consistently not getting enough sleep, not hydrating, not fueling well, not resting your body, then everything you do in the weight room is essentially all for naught. But obviously, at a Division II program, there's not going to be the resources to track that and help athletes as much with that. Have you found yourself struggling to hold up that end and hold athletes accountable with that?
Yes. And at D2, you know it's going to be part of it. It was the end of my first year. There was an athlete on the team, and she told me she went to the calf, and I would ask them all the time, what'd you eat today? And she had a salad. So, okay, what was on it? And she said she didn't like the chicken that was in the calf. They didn't have any turkey. So she had olives, tomatoes, and she didn't want to put any ranch on it because it was too much fat. I said, so you ate water? Like you just, It's like, no, I had tomatoes and that's water. Like lettuce is water. That's all you had. And she said, well, no, that's fine. But she was at the gym that day for an extra day that week. She wanted to do a little extra stuff, so I gave her some more. I said, man, I'd much rather you just go home and eat a box of donuts. She said, no, that's so unhealthy. I said, no, eating water like you just did, and that's all you're consuming today, was way worse than you just taking in 2,000 calories from donuts. Mm-hmm. Because if you were to ever go to a hospital and you're unconscious and they didn't give you 2,000 calories, you could sue them. You have to eat. And these kids get so used to not eating that then their body just runs at a low their body just tanks, and it'll just run the bare minimum that it needs to. And they get so used to that, like, oh, this is normal. Yeah, but that's not good. And you could perform better. Cool, you ran a 10.9 in the 100. You could have ran a 10.5. Mm-hmm. And you'll never know because you never ate.
There seems to me to be like a cultural phenomena that I can't explain these days, where weight loss and weight gain is being insanely overcomplicated. Mm-hmm. When really it's a simple math problem of, are you in a calorie deficit? Are you not? Are you in a calorie surplus?
It's America. It's America. Most people don't like to do hard things. Mm-hmm. That's it. There are a lot of things that truly aren't hard. They're extremely uncomfortable. I told somebody today, Olympic weightlifting's like that. It's not hard. It is extremely uncomfortable. Running, training sports in general, running is not hard. We see kids run all the time. But
the act of running isn't hard.
But to get to the level where you're running certain times takes a level of uncomfortability that people don't want to do. Mm-hmm. You have to get comfortable being uncomfortable and doing that repeatedly before you see the result. That's the part people don't like. And they'll just say, oh, it was hard. No, it wasn't. It was uncomfortable. You're capable of doing it. It's uncomfortable. It's the same thing with eating. People say, oh, man, I couldn't eat anymore. You could. I mean, it's uncomfortable. I believe people when they say, oh, I'm just full. Like, I believe that. I do. And you would be very uncomfortable to eat another 3 slices of pizza. But you could. And the math would be there. You would gain weight. Again, I'm not just saying go eat a box of pizza. But it is that simple of an equation. If you're not gaining weight, you're losing weight, you have to put on weight, you need to eat more. And that number is going to be different for different people. My cousin was a running back at Tennessee Chattanooga, and they told him he needed to gain 15 pounds over the summer. He stayed with me for 2 weeks, and I was tracking my macros. He ate exactly what I ate, and he lost like 4 pounds that night. You know, you're always going to lose weight at night. Mm-hmm. I lost, it was like 2.5, and he lost 4. So that next day, we had him double what I was eating. He lost 2 pounds that night. And I looked at him and was like, hey, you just got to eat more.
Different diet.
He said, right. Yeah. He's like, I'm eating the same thing you did. Our bodies aren't the same.
Right.
Mathematically, you need more than I do. That's all it is.
Culturally, we seem to all want the Ozempic quick fix for everything. And that's not just weight loss and weight gain. But in general, we seem to love the quick fix.
Yep.
And that is the part that seems to drive me crazy, is we have an inability as a society where we are allergic to doing something for a sustained period of time that does not see immediate results.
Yeah, well, that's because people don't see a benefit in it at all. People don't do things that they don't see a benefit in. I said this to women's basketball a couple years ago, and I would say it when they were running, I would just say back tattoos. They had to run a mile. I'm forgetting what the mile time was for them. And then the next test, they had to do a 1.5 miles in under 12 minutes. And they were all complaining, like, man, we don't know if we can do it. It was as soon as they got on campus. Mm-hmm. But they knew all summer, so run, and a lot of them were. And most of them made it. So let me just go and say that. Most of them made it. I think there was only 2 of them that didn't. So they were worried about the 1.5 miles. They didn't want to do it. I was like, guys, it's only 12 minutes. You just got hurt for 12 minutes. You can do that. And I gave the example of a back tattoo. I said, everybody knows somebody who has a tattoo on their back, on their spine, that says something in Latin, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And that hurt like hell for them to get. But for some reason, they felt that was beneficial. Like, yeah, I'll get this tattoo, and I'm going to lay on this table and hurt for 30 minutes, and it's all going to be worth it because it's going to look so cool. That pain was worse than the 12 minutes of running that mile. But the difference was they thought the back tattoo was worth it. They saw a benefit in that. In the mile-and-a-half run, these girls didn't see a benefit. So they didn't care. They didn't want to do it. Like, oh, this hurts so much. You have willingly put yourself through more pain just because you thought it was worth it and there's something at the end of it. Whether there was or wasn't, you thought there was, so you were okay doing it. People just need to become okay doing hard things, and then it's not so bad anymore.
One of my favorite quotes is choose your hard, because in everything in life, at least it seems to me, that you will face hard things regardless of what you do. You can either be fat, and that's hard because you won't be able to get the quality of life that you want to, or you can train, and that's going to be hard too, and you'll have a fit body and you'll be attractive. Similarly, you can choose not to budget, you can choose not to be financially responsible, and that's going to be hard because down the line, you're not going to have any money. Or it's going to be hard in the short term when you aren't going out and hanging out with your buddies or going out to Starbucks and getting what you want. So what do you think, as a society, what do you think it would take to cause a cultural shift back to picking the correct hard?
Ooh.
Or is it even possible?
Because I don't think it's possible, because on the flip side, we've also gotten used to this, whatever it is okay. And that is with everything in life. Like, people are saying that with everything. Whatever it is okay. And they'll justify it away. Whether they're blaming themselves, they're blaming somebody else, they're saying that this is just as perfect as that. Whatever it is.
Body positivity.
Yeah, it goes to that. It goes to, literally everything. So it's you can see it in body positivity. You can see it in every single thing else. It's not, people don't view things as a right or wrong. It's more of everything's right. And if everything's right, why would I do something hard to get another right way? My way's already right.
We've lost objective truth.
Yes.
Essentially.
Yep. And if most people aren't objective enough to see it, I feel like some people are objective. There's a population that is. There's a population that just physically can't be objective. And then there's the other population that knows better, and they decide not to be because there's no benefit. Like, why would I do that? I don't need to. Apparently whatever I'm doing is just fine, so I'll just stay here.
Right. Speaking on objective truth, obviously you work at a Christian university. Faith in God is implemented into everything you do. Do you think that do you see the benefits of a group of people that do believe in objective truth through the study of the Bible, and that there is objective truth in faith if you are a Christian? Do you see that outwardly in the community here?
Yes, and I think it's very beneficial, especially to have people that are like-minded together. The only issue would be sometimes, just like we were talking about objectivity, people can misconstrue certain things and take them as fact. So it can be very beneficial, especially to be around other like-minded people, but it only takes one bad apple. And that's the problem with a tight group. One bad apple can ruin a bunch. That's it.
Right.
So, yes, there are benefits. You also have to be careful with which apples you're letting in the bag.
Especially at a Division II Christian university, though. It seems to be that half of, or you could probably get an exact number on this because you can split it by athletes and non-athletes. There seems to be a very different personality between the athletes, and that extends to faith. I think there's pros and cons of both. I think there's a certain level where religion becomes a god, essentially, and a lot of it seems very performative to me. As an athlete, I tend to think that a lot of the people here fall more balanced within the athlete range. Do you think, obviously it's a culture thing because there's more hormones, testosterone, things like that, of that nature, but what else do you think contributes to having a really balanced life as an athlete, even psychologically in faith?
Well, I think a lot of it, my first thought is, what was their home life before coming here, right? So people come to college and they already have a change of everything. Oh, now they might not need to text their parents at 8:15 like, oh, I'm home. So now there's a level of freedom, which also shows you how strong people's faith is, with added freedom, what they're allowed to do. Before, they would have said it was bad. Well, now they kind of want to try it and nobody will know and they can do what they want. So my first thing, and I think the most important thing, is how strict was it at home before you came? And how much were you truly bought in as an individual before you got here? Because if you were just doing what you had to around your parents and around your family at home, and you had to go to church every Sunday and you didn't want to, but your family made you, when you get here, it's going to be a little different. Yes, you were raised Christian, but it's a little different than the person that wants to do all those things and their parents weren't over their back and they just didn't do certain things because they had no desire to. So I think that is more important than anything that happens here, because those two individuals I just spoke of will be given the same opportunity here, and they'll have the same chances to do good and bad things. And their response is going to be completely different.
Have you seen that creep into the teams that you see on campus, where some people are making poor decisions and it pulls in other people that maybe did grow up really committed to their sport and to their faith and to eating habits and everything in their life? Or do those people tend to stay stronger than the people that would be more susceptible to those things?
I will say, as a strength coach down here, I'm far enough removed to where I wouldn't know. That is one where if they're doing something really stupid on the weekends, they wouldn't tell me anyway.
Certainly you hear about all of it. Most of it.
I do. I hear about things. I definitely hear about teams when they get in trouble. I definitely find out about some stuff for sure. But the same way that kids, how I said, would fake it and do what their parents wanted them to, I also know that I'm not getting everything. So it would be hard to say, is there a certain team, or have I seen one apple ruin the bunch of that team? It would be hard to say, because sometimes you're looking at the wrong apple. I will say I am far enough removed, and I'm never up on campus. I see them in the weight room, at practice, at games. So I'm removed enough to where I wouldn't see that, but you would.
Right. So small Division II Christian university is obviously a very niche genre of college.
Yeah.
Have you seen those same issues transfer to a school like West Virginia when you were there? Obviously, you were a little more, in the student population at that point. There's less of a maybe coach-athlete relationship.
West Virginia was a little different, but I wouldn't even say it's because it was a Big 12 school. West Virginia is West Virginia. It's
almost its own genre. Yeah.
Right. So no, people are coming to class drunk and with liquor in their bag. That's a little different than you would do here.
Right.
Everybody's going to be in the blue lot on game day, jumping on tables, drinking, and setting couches on fire. You're going to do that at West Virginia. Thinking about UNC Charlotte, right? When I was at UNC Charlotte, I think there were 33,000 students when I was there. It's a D1 school. That was not as wild as West Virginia. Right. So, that was I guess it's technically a mid-major, but 33,000 is a decent size.
Substantial number, yeah.
Right. What, compared to the 2,300 here now, I believe?
I don't even know
it's something
what the number
like
is.
That. If I compare it to West Virginia, that's just not fair.
Right.
Looking at UNC Charlotte, I think the individuals that go to those schools don't normally have the same pressures that individuals that come to a Christian school have. So I think that is it. It's still how was life before you got there? Because the person that decides to go in UNC Charlotte just wants to go to a college with a decent amount of people, and they might just want to go party sometimes. Sometimes they might not, and they just want to go to a school down the street. But to decide to go to a Christian university, that's not an accident.
Right.
You didn't just, I didn't even know it was a Christian university. No,
it's
you
advertised.
Knew. Right.
Yeah.
So it's the individual that seeks that out, I think, is a little different.
Do you think, what have you seen the main differences are between somebody, obviously, like you said, you're not going to accidentally end up at a Christian institution. But even the differences between UNC Charlotte and a West Virginia, and even more so pronounced between a North Greenville and a Big 12 school like West Virginia, the certain specimen of athlete, is it mostly genetics that separates them, or is there something else there that you kind of see?
Oh, it's night and day. It is not the same. I think there are several things. One, you'll have the genetic freak that was just given the opportunity because he was a genetic freak. Yeah, like they're going to give him a scholarship. You have the other kids that were borderline, could have went either way, and they worked hard. So then they got there. In D2, you can have the kids that work really hard, and they're 5'6", 190 middle linebacker. Like you could have that kid. In I'm trying to think of how to. There is a difference, but it's not always their perspective on things. It's not always how they take to the weight room or how they handle their classwork. It's not always those things, because those things are also viewed different by the staff around them, right? So here we can tell. Let's go back to the nutrition thing. I know when these kids leave the weight room, I can tell them every time, eat. Please eat. Whether they will or won't, I don't know. At West Virginia was, hey, we're telling you to eat. Football, like they're going to track their swipes. How many meal swipes did you have? You have to walk by and grab a strawberry shake out of that building when you're on your way to class. It's things like that that also change the individual. So yes, it might have been that middle of the road guy who could have went either way, and now he's at a school where they're giving him protein shakes in the middle of class. He has to get these 2 meals. That all adds up. And then that also changes the person's perspective on what they're doing in the weight room. Okay, well, I just had all this. I had to eat all this. I need to lower my head. So I think there are a lot of factors. I don't think we can narrow it down to just the type of athlete. Some of it is how they view their sport. Some of it is just genetics. Some of it was once they got to that school and they were given different opportunities and they got to work with better coaches or worse coaches. All of that plays in and I think changes the individual in their 4 years.
You see it in sports because sports are a microcosm of life, but there's almost a sunken cost fallacy that ultimately ends up benefiting the athletes at those bigger schools almost, because you go to a Division II or a smaller school, smaller Division I, and it almost feels like there's the less pressure lets you have more freedom of, I can get away with this, this. But at a bigger school, you're going to be going against the best of the best, and you have this certain amount invested already that you can't let it slip.
I also wouldn't keep it, I wouldn't keep the intentions as pure as that. But yes, you have those because you also have on the flip side, let's say we have a kid here playing football at a school with 2,000 students. Cool. They might know who you are when you go to Chick-fil-A. Cool.
Yeah.
But then things get hard. He's not going to class. And he's like, you know what? Screw it. I'm not making all that up anyway. I'm just done playing football. Well, if you're at a big school, nah, man, I'm on the video game. What you mean? I'm not like, fine, I'll turn in that homework. I'll have somebody else turn in that homework because I'm on the video game. And then for the rest of my life, I can go tell people, oh, yeah, I play football at West Virginia. And they'll know what it is.
Right.
So I'm sure you have a lot of kids that also have those type of intentions where it's not always pure. And that's fine.
Pure or not.
Right. That's why I'm not
works.
saying that in a bad way, but there are multiple reasons why it's different there. You might have a kid here we have a kid now who was a very good player. He's academically ineligible. I don't want to say that wouldn't happen. It's harder for that to happen at bigger schools because you have somebody looking over your back at all your classes. They know what classes you're in. They made your schedule. They know when you didn't turn something in. Yeah, and your professor also was watching you on ESPN and telling their friends at the cookout, oh, he's in my class. Yeah, they might have gave you an extra 5%.
Right. So
there are things like that. They're just a little different at those bigger schools, and you can't mimic at smaller schools.
It brings to mind the idea that anytime you're looking to do something hard or difficult, you want to lubricate the path to success as much as possible. If you want to get up in the morning, you have a 5:30 a.m. lift, like have your stuff set out, shoes by the door, shake ready.
Every single time.
Because if you're going to get up and expect to do that all in the morning, it's going to be harder to do it. And you know in your head subconsciously that, I still have to get everything together. And it makes you want to stay in bed. So
I'll use me, for example. I don't have to get here until I get to work at 12. So like today I'll be here from 12 to 7:30. But I go to the gym at 7:40 in the morning. And it's about a 25, 30-minute drive. The night before, I have my gym clothes out on the floor. I'll have the clothes I'm going to wear to work on the floor next to that. I'll have my lunch packed in the fridge. So I wake up in the morning, put my gym clothes on, go to the gym, drive back. I might have 15 minutes until I got to leave. So I get back, jump in the shower, grab the clothes from the floor, grab my lunch out of the fridge, and go. I always do it the night before.
Right.
Be prepared, and it makes it easier to just do it and not have an excuse, because now you're finding excuses to not do it. You can always find an excuse if you look for one. It's not hard to do. So just be prepared. Prepare yourself.
I think rather uniquely, strength coaches are one of the small breeds of society that sometimes do better than the people that they're coaching. I feel like that's a monster thing in society today, where you have teachers, professors, even a lot of times coaches in every realm that teach and don't do. Whereas I think most strength coaches that you're going to see look better than their athletes.
I think it goes back to the training sport thing, right? So the people that went to running or rowing or Olympic weightlifting, those training sport people do it on their own. Strength coaches aren't playing basketball or football anymore. A lot of times they are just doing training sport stuff.
Yeah.
So they are still those individuals that will do it themselves. They don't need to have somebody do it. So I think this is just a profession that gets a lot of those training sport people.
Yeah.
Not so many training sport guys fall into accounting.
Do you think it's a necessity as a whole if you're teaching somebody to do something to be able to do it? Because there's a lot of arguments for sometimes good players don't always make the best coaches, and vice versa. Sometimes it takes a fresh mind to be a great coach. What is your kind of view on that?
I think as a strength coach, it's a little different than a sport coach. So I would say as a strength coach, I think, yes, you need to do it. You need to do it. When I said earlier, I know what mile time I could run. Realistically, I know what mile time I could run. It's because I do hard things regularly. Right. So I know that I can make myself do something else that's hard, and I'd be okay. When that goes away, I really don't hear anything from you. Like, I don't tell that kid to add 20 pounds or to hit another rep. You haven't done it in 10 years, and you have no desire to, and you don't want to. So I said hard things intentionally because it doesn't need to be you under a heavy back squat every time. It doesn't need to be you running a mile every other day, but it needs to be something. You're not trying hard or doing anything, then don't look at this kid and yell at him, tell him to do something hard. I don't want to hear it from you. Like that, it's worthless.
That reaches into all parts of society, because anytime you go on the internet, you can pretty easily find a comment section where somebody has posted something out and put it into the world, and you'll have people tearing them down or saying, that they're poor at what they do, when those same people behind those comments are doing absolutely nothing. It's like, well, what are you doing? That gives you the right to be able to say, like, oh, that 180 bench isn't very strong.
Yeah. Well, it loops back around to earlier when we said whatever people are doing now, they want to view as being the same as the top 1%. God forbid they had to view themselves as being in the bottom percent. Like, they would never do that, because they have to they have to round up and say, oh, well, I'm the same as that 1%. I could do that. I could be in the NBA. No, you couldn't. And that's okay.
Right.
That's okay. You can acknowledge that, and it's not a problem. But people take it to heart and can't handle that.
It's hard for people to find value in themselves outside of, especially for athletes, once they stop doing their sport. It's there's almost an identity crisis that goes on. And then people that never are into anything competitive as a kid or past high school into college, I think especially males, like kind of yearn to have that next thing that they can go reach. But it's hard to find a goal when you're working at an accounting firm, you know, and there's no way to move up. The only way to really track that is in dollars, which again feeds back into the materialisticness of our society. So do you think there is something to be said for continuing a sport outside, recreationally, outside of competitive, whatever you do?
Yes. I said I started Olympic weightlifting because I was getting ready to walk on for football. Because all of a sudden, after over a decade, I wasn't playing. I was like, man, I don't know what to do. This is weird. Like, I had no clue what to do. So I was getting in shape for football, and then I found something else. I lift with Angie regularly now. Angie played basketball here a couple years ago, and she played basketball her whole life. And then she graduated, and 2 months after, I got a text. You want to start Olympic weightlifting? She's doing great. She's going to go to nationals in Colorado this summer. That was next. It's after I talked about accountants earlier. She's an accountant.
Yep.
That's not going to that's just not going to do it for her.
Not going to get your competitive juices
right.
flowing.
So she played basketball her whole life, and she is extremely analytical. That's why we will sit there and I can tell her something about bar trajectory. She'll say, okay. I can tell her this oddball movement that'll help in 3 months because it's going to be loading her lower trap here. And she won't feel the difference now, but she will in 10 weeks. And she'll say, okay. And it makes sense. So, yes, finding something else after. Because if you've always been analytical like that, or you've always been trying to do something, you're not going to know what to do. And not that it needs to be weightlifting, but I think that's where training sports are good. It could be running. That's why the whole people turn 30 and join a running club. Like, that's all it is, man. It's a training sport where they can go. They can just do something. They can work a little hard, and they're with other people that are also wanting to work hard.
Right.
That's what it is. It's not about the running club. Most people just don't want to do Olympic weightlifting. It's the same thing. Most people, it's hard to find a rowing team in your 30s, but anybody can go run. So that's what it is. It's not the running club in their 30s. It's having a training sport and something that you can do with other people consistently.
Okay. Well, wrapping it up here, I want to be conscious of your time. I know you have other things to get to. So last thing, if there's one thing that you want your athletes to take out of the weight room and bring with them into life, what would you say that would be?
Doing hard things and raising your minimum. There are certain teams I'll give minimums to. I'll say, hey guys, this week we're doing RDLs. Bare minimum, you have to have 135 on the bar. A couple weeks later, I'll tell them, hey guys, bare minimum, you got to have 145 on the bar. And I'll keep inching it up. And then they come back next year, and of course we'll take a little step back, but we're not going back to where we originally were. It's okay to take a step back like that, but you have to keep building. So get used to doing hard things and continue to raise your minimums. That's all you got to do.
Love it. Coach Tyree, thank you very much. Where can they find you?
Instagram, Tyree_Thor.
Anything else?
Got that for everything
Just
else.
Instagram?
Yeah.
All
Search that. You'll find it everywhere.
Sounds good. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, sir.